Okay, let me set a couple agreements with you guys really quickly. Is the first agreement that I have for you guys is I have 45 minutes for this class today. And what I want from you is to let me know how much time out of those 45 minutes that you have to be present for this call. Now, present's very different than I'm going to be working on a bunch of loan files and that if you are working on loan files and you're putting out some fires right now, that's totally fine. I just want you to make an agreement with yourself so that you stay in integrity with yourself. What kind of time do you have for this call? And at the bottom here, there's a chat box. And if you can just put that in there so I'm aware if anybody has some time constraints or anything. The second agreement that I'm going to make with you guys is that I'm going to ask you two questions. So if you can have a piece of paper and a pen out, just by the sheer fact of answering these questions, you're going to get some clarity. But what we're going to do is you're going to put the answers to these questions in the chat box. I'm going to pick the people that I think have a question or a general enough question that would be beneficial for the entire group to hear and to have a discussion around. But if there is something that's sensitive in there or anything like that, it also gives Dan and I the ability to see. And so maybe we can reach out and have any questions around that. So before I ask that question, let's get present really quickly so that you can get into a very uh, place of integrity inside yourself. So I want you to focus on your breathing for 3 breaths. Count 3 in and 3 out right now. Okay, the first question is, what is the greatest challenge that you're facing right now in your business? Write that question down. Don't answer it yet because I'm going to ask you another one in just a minute. I'm going to have you write down. The second question is, if I was to come to your office and observe you for a week, what is the one thing that I would tell you to do in your business? Either to start doing or to stop doing. What's the one thing? What's the major thing that I would say? If you switch this up, this will have an immediate impact on your business. So write those two questions down and then answer them. Put your answers in the chat box. Andrew said, can I repeat question one? The question one is, what is the greatest challenge that you're facing in your business right now? Okay, I'm looking for everybody to answer this question before I start. So if everybody can answer. All right, let's start with you, Ken. Since you're new, we're going to go right to you first. And so if you can unmute yourself and you can, I'd like to hear both answers from you. So what do you think is the greatest challenge? And let me just say one thing really quickly, Ken, is everybody, I'm going to try to pick people that have a general enough question that everybody benefits from the discussion. So what I would ask is when the person's going through their answers, see what you would say to them as well. Because I might call on somebody as well here. Okay, so if you're on this call, let's make an agreement that if you're on this call and somebody's going to challenge, I might not answer the challenge if I feel like somebody else knows the answer or we benefit. So if you're on this call, I might call on you to say, hey, you know, what would you say in this capacity? So Ken, what's your first one? What's your greatest challenge?
Greatest challenge is the consistency of marketing efforts to not only the people that we already know in this general area from a referral source standpoint, but also our past client base.
Okay. So you say the problem is that you're not consistent?
Correct.
Okay. What has to happen for you to become more consistent?
I love the approach of winning the day. My thought is that should take care of everything, and the next obstacle or challenge will be presented after that is sort of run its course, meaning either there's success or there's a challenge in winning the day. Everything else should fall in line after that.
It's so true, man. I cannot offer that enough to you and to everybody. The challenge is absolutely always in this moment to win the day. Always. It always is. It is never a problem, a bigger problem than that when you talk about marketing and consistency. The challenge is, what do I need to accomplish today? And the acronym I use for win is what's important now. So the stuff that we teach you guys to do is what's important right now. Now things come up in our days, right? And we're slaves to our emotions. We're reactive, and that is what inhibits our ability to be consistent. But the path to greatness, guys, is winning today. And I will stand before you being like, I'd love to tell you it's easy, except that's not the truth. Not the truth. It's just not. That's not the truth. I don't stand before you saying it's easy. And I'll tell you that you guys can transform your lives. You can transform your businesses. You can get anything you want in life if you can win 4 out of 7 days each week. That is all it takes. But you will not win your life. You will not create these amazing successes if you stay in your heads analyzing about, hey, I think tomorrow I'm going to start, or all this. So the warrior mentality is to create that space. That's why I always try to get you guys present, so that you can get into a present place and then just take action in that present and know what you have to do that right now in this moment. But what's fascinating, Ken, is it's almost always our minds that are telling us not to do it for whatever reason. It's not important. It's not anything. So that's a great question. Now, you don't know me at all. This is the first time I've met you. So it'd be fascinating to hear your answer. But just from maybe studying or being in the group, or take a stab at it, if I was to come and mirror you for a week, what was the one thing that I would say to either start doing or stop doing?
Start delegating.
Do you have a team?
We do. Newly formed, but we do.
Okay. So what holds you back from delegating now?
I think it's just that same approach of just let it break, but get it up. I have the tendency to want to try and make it as good as it can get the first time. And that keeps me from just saying, understanding and realizing that there's completely confidence in the team, and let them do it, whether it's their way or a different way. and pick up the pieces and either say, great, we got it done, or hey, that didn't work, and learn from there instead of trying to coach it perfect the first time.
That's really good. I want you to write down 2 things for me, and I want you to look at them every morning, okay?
Yep.
The first one is, I will allow someone to make a mistake in my name. Try that on. Does that make you want to go outside and throw up?
I would say 3 or 4 months ago, yeah. Not so much now.
Okay. And then the second one that I want you to write down is, if somebody can do it 80% as well as I can, that's a win. So what holds us back from growing teams and building big businesses, guys, is we want someone to absolutely clone us, and it will never happen. That's what holds us back from building great teams and leveraging. We want somebody that is an absolute clone of us, that does it exactly how we do it, on the same time frame and the same service levels, and that's not possible. And what people do is, and they say, well, then fine, I'm not doing it. I'm not building a team. I'm going to do everything. And then they can't grow past a certain number, because this business is a fulfillment business. It's not just a sales and marketing business. It's also a fulfillment business. And so if you want to leverage, and if you want to grow, and if you want to do these big numbers and get to our levels 2, then get into our level 3 someday and make big money, it's always a mindset shift. It's always, hey, you know what? I'm going to allow somebody to make a mistake in my name. And if somebody can do it 80% as well as I can, that's a profitable hire, not 100. Is that fair?
Makes perfect sense.
Great question for your first one, Ken. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
So let's go to Kirk.
Howdy.
Hey, man. What's the greatest challenge in your business?
The consistency in our process. As Ken just mentioned, we have a newly formed team. Mm-hmm. So he's in Michigan. I'm in Florida. Our 2 other team members are in Michigan. I'm on the front lines now for the first time in years. Mm-hmm. So we have a little bit of a process flow challenge that we're experiencing.
Okay. I think that's normal. So will you allow the time to come in for the processes to change and grow? Are you up for allowing that and not trying to force something to happen before it can?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yep. Cool. If I was to come mirror you, what would I say to start doing or stop doing in your business?
Well, delegate.
Do you have the same thing as Ken?
I have the same problem as he does. Yes.
Fascinating.
So those 2 things I just wrote down are huge for me.
Yeah, that's all that I have. I mean, those are the ones, and you have to say them as an affirmation in the morning till it sticks in, because you're going to get that feeling in the pit of your stomach if you don't, when somebody makes a mistake. And what happens is then you go, well, I'm not dealing with that ever again, and I'm just going to have to do it. And now you're stuck. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing. Jessica, let's go to you. I haven't talked to you in a little bit.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. What's the greatest challenge in your business?
Our market, it seems like the most common purchase price is for repeat buyers, and I don't know how to necessarily tap into that market. A lot of my clients can't afford $400,000 properties or don't want to, so need to figure out how to get into that market more.
How long have you been winning the day in our system?
Monday and Tuesday. I didn't do so great today.
That's okay.
I'm definitely not winning today.
Why I say 4 out of 7. I'd love to tell you that it's a deeper problem than that, but it's not. Guys, and I hear a couple of people talk about their market or different things like that. Let me just point out that it's always a lead problem. It's never a market problem. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
I'm looking at everybody's face right now. I want to see if everybody gets this point. Does that make sense? It's never a market problem. It's always a lead problem. And is it fair? Can we have an agreement that if you ask anything market related or anything outside of your control, that I'm always going to answer it with, you need to generate more leads by winning 4 out of 7 days? Is that fair to everybody? It's astonishing how many problems more leads will will solve problems in your business. It's astonishing. Jessica, what would be the if I was to come mirror you, what would I say?
You'd tell me to keep focused.
Okay. What holds you back from being focused?
I think I have the squirrel mentality sometimes where, it's easy to get distracted. But when I am on task, following and knocking out my tasks for the day, that's when I'm on point and when the business is rolling through. Whereas like today, I had a closing this morning at 9, which is great. Love closings. But it threw off my day a little bit that I came to the office and then I left and then trying to get caught back up and where I was. And yeah.
So what'll bring it back is if you come right into this moment and right after this call, win today.
I
want to. That's my goal.
Good. What does it take to get you to commit to it?
Duct tape.
You're funny. Okay, well, let's try a different.
Just to sit and do my tasks. I mean, I am notorious. I use Django, which is like MPC or whatever, Salesforce. I am notorious for putting way too many tasks on my plate for the day.
Okay.
And I really need to stop that because you can only make so many phone calls and have them be actual, beneficial
quality,
phone calls during the day.
Calls.
Yeah.
That's why in our systems, it's not a lot each day, but the key is that you do it each day. And it is a learned habit. And so let me just ask you this one more question is why do you want to hit your financial goals?
Why?
Yeah.
So that I can take care of myself and my kids and take care of their college. A lot of my why is my children.
So
go on vacations.
There it is right there. And I want you to put that up in the morning. And this goes for all of you guys too. If you're having problems with motivation, you've got to look at the why. Mm-hmm. So we can do the best that we can and I love it, the accountability standpoint on the videos and we do this, but if you will fall off the wagon if you don't at some point attach it to the why. Why am I doing this? Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to do this because the truth of the matter is, guys, if you haven't hit it yet, you will very soon. There's going to be a day that you're not going to feel like doing it. If that's news to anybody, just let me know. But you're not going to feel like doing it. And then that's the path. That's the part right there where you take the leaps over, where you say, I don't feel like doing this, but that's not a reason not to do it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's really the key part for you. So one of the easiest ways that I do it in my life is really attach it to that why.
Makes sense.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Awesome. Was that helpful for you?
Yes. Thank you.
Let's go to Scott Pendleton.
All right. So my greatest challenge right now is focus and organization.
Okay.
And part of the problem is because I'm busy, which is a good problem to have, but I'm finding myself getting all over the place. I feel like I need to time block time blocking sometimes gets monotonous, but I need to time block certain times for certain activities during the day.
Yep. Can you give me an example? Like what do you lose and focus on with your organization?
Well, if I could show you my desk, you'd see part of it. My phone's ringing. I'm taking apps. The last couple of days was hectic because my wife had a minor surgery, so I was at the hospital in and out. But it's just, staying on task, finishing one thing at a time, making sure I've got it all taken care of, then moving on to the next thing. I tend to take a phone call and then I I want to, you know, service this customer right away and get them what they need. And then the phone rings again, and I'm, you know, 2 days later, I'm going, crap, I didn't call that guy back. Or, you know, what's going on with, like, today, just right before this call, I'm like, I've got a file, a refinance I'm working on that all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell's going on with this file? It just kind of popped into my brain. I need to get more organized on how I'm, you know, I do pipeline reviews with my processors twice a week. I'm pretty good from letting them handle the file once they have it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, getting all the initial stuff up front and making sure that everything is working out.
Who has a handle on this in their business? I have an idea that potentially, Amber, you could, but I don't know if that's true or accurate, so I don't want to put you on the spot. But does anybody have a handle on this that could say, hey, you know what?
I do.
I nailed it. Do you? I was thinking you might, but I didn't want to. Okay, can you?
I would be Amber.
I didn't
Love
know.
you, Scotty.
My guess was.
And you know what, Scott, like too, right now, I mean, literally last night I was here late and I thought I've got to get a grip on it because I'm training a new person and I'm
I've got a new guy that just started this week
right.
too.
So that kind of comes into it. But when I get into the space that you're in right now, the best thing I do is a jam session. And it's 90 minutes of me going, this is what I'm taking care of for the next 90 minutes. I'm getting my thoughts together. I'm creating the list. I'm you know, going to get back with every single person. And I set my timer. I set both my phones on do not disturb. And for 90 minutes, and I'll tell you 20 minutes in, I'm like, this is like, it's been 90 minutes for sure. Something's wrong with my timer because we don't do uninterrupted times.
Right.
So literally I put do not disturb on my door. Like, and she knows if somebody comes in our office, they're not to bother me. Like it is because, and it's turning off my email. I turn off everything and I just do a jam session and that gets all my stuff back together. And I feel like if I do those every few days, I'm really good. I'd love to do them once a day, but I think if you did that now and you just after this call, you did that jam session, you'd have a lot of clarity.
That was awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Scott, I'll tell you what I do. It's similar, but it's different too. So part of my win the day each morning is I write what are the tasks that I need to complete by the end of the day. And what I had to learn is I do that in the morning. And I have a journal and I write that down, either the tasks that I have to do. And then I write it like this. Do one task at a time, do it until it's complete, then move to the next one. And then what I do at night, right at like 8:30, I pull out that in the morning and then I'll go and I'll check to see if I did the stuff and I check it off like that. But the biggest shift that I made when I was going through what you're going through was complete one task at a time completely. So an email comes in, you either have the time that you're checking email, or if you're doing email, you have to finish the task of the email, either delete it or get it done. But what happens is most people look at it, they kind of do something with it, but then they keep it in their inbox and their inbox is growing and there's too many things going on. And then you get overwhelmed.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty good at having, I do keep a list. I've got like my daily calendar, and then I print my daily calendar, and I've got my list, and I work off of that. And if I don't finish something, I move to the next day. So I'm pretty organized from that standpoint. What I don't do is shut everything off.
I love what Amber said.
My email's always open. My phone's always on. That's my issue.
I think that's life-changing if you can shut that stuff off. There's something that happens in our brain. So you start doing something, and then your phone goes off. And if you look there, now you just lost that whole part that you were working on right now. And of course, yeah.
To add to that, this last week, I felt like I was going to lose my mind with a new hire and all this stuff. I've been super slammed. And I decided like I'm crunching stuff together, right? So at a certain time, I'm following up with people. So in that time, what'll happen is I noticed that my realtor started pulling me into other stuff. I'm calling you about one thing and now you're asking me 20 other things.
Yep.
And at the end of that first day, I literally just wanted to go home and have a bottle of wine. Mm-hmm. And so I actually have implemented that whenever I call them and I'm talking about a specific file and they pull me into something, I'm like, hey, you know what? That's a great question right now. I'm just focusing on things that I've got in contract. Can I call you this afternoon at 2:30? Would that work? And I'm starting to time slot them in and taking control of it. Mm-hmm. Because awesome. When I let them have control, then I lose control of my life, I think.
Yeah, that's excellent stuff. And guys, this goes for everybody. Amber and Scott they're not even in one day yet at level 2. They just got in there. But I'm going to say something to both of you too, but I want everybody to hear this, is the process in level 2 to even get to these next levels is committing to doing something the same on every single, that your days look the same, that your files look the same, that everything looks the same. And what's really hard for almost everybody, but I'm speaking right now to Amber and Scott, so we'll see, is then you can't be everything to everybody anymore. And you have to set boundaries, and you have to be okay that you're gonna lose business. But this is the path once you commit to doing something and doing it the same way every single time. And this is what you do, and this is what we do here, and I can't apologize about that. That's the only path up from there. So your path, and everybody's, we hope and pray that everybody goes level 2 at some point, is committing to that. And that's what we did, you know, for you guys in San Diego, that's what it is. It's standing up and having the fear, and you want to throw up and saying, this is my system, and this is what I'm doing on everything, and this is what I'm doing. Because what you see is you actually get so much more productive from that when you can speak from that place. But it's hard, that shift from what we call the level 1 to level 2 shift, where level 1's everybody's everything to everybody, woohoo, and I've gotten all this business, and it's awesome, and I'm awesome, and it's so fun, to overwhelm, right? What Scott's talking about right now. It's a tough shift, because you want to keep the momentum going. And if you don't keep the momentum going, then you burn out and you start resenting it, or you drink a bottle of wine every night, right? And then you're calling me later on being like, do you know any good AA outlets for... I mean, look, I've been in this business a long time. I know exactly what you're saying, and I've had a lot of friends that go through it. So it's so normal. But if you don't do it, if you don't build the system, and you don't have that power of, this is what we do here, and I don't apologize for it, I don't know if it's alcohol, but there's something that people turn to. It happens. Cool. Let's see. Was that helpful for you, Scott?
Yeah, very.
Let's go to Joe Salem.
Hey, Deryck.
Hey, man. Sounds like it's similar, but let's hear
I was just going to say mine's very, very similar to Scott. And I think the biggest thing for me is prioritizing clients. So it's one of these things where, you know, you're working on one file, and all of a sudden a realtor calls you, and you start talking to them about something else. It just happened just now. So I'm talking to one of my realtor partners about a couple of clients that we're trying to get pre-approved. And we get on the topic of 203Ks, and then she's like, hey, can you help me with this listing? And I think a 203K would be a great way to advertise it. You know, let's go do a broker open house and this and that and the next thing. And now we're off on this tangent. And
do you want to do 203K loans?
We do them. We do them fairly well. It's not what I love doing, but because they are time consuming. But we can do them, and they turn out pretty well.
So that was not the question I asked you. Do you want to do 203K loan?
Yes and no. I mean, it's.
But you can't.
No,
you have to make that. Wait, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, if I had two customers buying the same exact house, and one was a 203K and one wasn't, obviously I'm going to do the one that wasn't. So I guess the answer is no. I don't want to do 203Ks. Okay.
So could that solve your problem right there on that? I'll tell you, this is exactly what I was just speaking to Amber and Scott about. And I'm going to be pushing, but I want you guys to start hearing some of the stuff that I talk about in level 2 too. It's like, I want you to hear it. Who are you? Who do you serve? Who are you? Who do you serve? What is your ideal, what I'll call avatar? Who is your ideal client? And what does your ideal business look like? It is very hard for people to make that kind of shift. And then you'll do things like what you just said, like, oh, and then, you know, and then you even start to feel bad. And now you're doing a broker open, spending your Tuesday on a loan you don't even want, right? Like it's like, wait, I don't even really want these loans. And do you see how that messes up everything?
Yeah, I do. Well, part of that ties into my, question too, or answer to your second question. And I wrote, if you were to follow me around for a day, it would basically be, you would tell me to time block and put limits on my workday. But really if I dig deeper into it, it's really a scarcity mentality. Yeah. It's just like, okay, coming off of a bad January, phone's ringing off the hook right now with pre-approvals and pre-qualifications and things like that. But it's a scarcity mentality in my mind where it's just like, I got to get all these loans. I got to keep everybody happy.
I'm going to do 100,000 to a 3K, like just because, right? And that's why. And that's
oh
why
God,
we get into
God, no, I wouldn't do that
or whatever.
But, yeah.
You know, like
I mean, yeah, exactly. I know what you mean.
yeah, it does. It always does come back to a mindset. So I appreciate you saying this. You remember in the beginning when I was saying that almost everybody's problem can be solved as a lead problem, because when you have more leads, then you're able to say no. Does that make sense to everybody? And no is the path to everything. Yes is not the path. Does that make sense to everybody? Is that weird Deryck talk? Okay.
Makes sense.
If you don't have enough leads, then you're saying yes to everything. You see that? And then you're getting resentful because you're working on Sunday afternoon or you're doing broker opens. You don't even really want to be doing it. So then, and it manifests in different ways. You're angry at your spouse, you're yelling, or, you know, whatever, right? Or, you know, as we're talking about, you're drinking bottles of wine, but those are just symptoms of the problems. Those aren't the problem. The problem is that you don't have enough leads that you can say no. Is that fair?
Yep.
And I think in your case too, and it does. And that's why we teach, and that's why for level 1, it's marketing, get more leads, and then the mindsets around it, because a scarcity mindset, I had a bad month, then you compound that decision later on. Now you're taking less, you're doing things you don't even really want to do. So that was really cool, man. I appreciate you sharing that. Was that helpful?
Absolutely.
So let's go to Robert Grove.
Well, I can't talk about number 1 because you've already hit it. I'm talking about compressed markets and as far as pricing goes and just the lead problem. So that you've answered that question. And my second, I think it's been touched on also. It's just maintaining focus throughout the workday. And it's been answered. You know, I've got to set some boundaries on my workday. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Is there anything I can do to serve you? You feel good?
No, I'm great. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. Amber, let's go to you. You have a training question
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of a problem with maybe the company a little bit, because Sendera is a regional company. Most of our focus is in the Texas market.
Okay.
So and my team was the only people in Oklahoma. And so how they look at like people in my position, they want me just to do my job, which is great. But I also run Oklahoma. So the problem with that is I can't train her on how to disclose, but the company doesn't give me access to disclose, although I've been doing this for 14 years. So it's like she went down there for a couple of days, but she's never been in this business and I can't serve her in that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So super frustrated and have had to have mindset like revamps every single day of, okay, I love this company and it's a great company. And once she's trained, it won't be a problem, but I can't offer her a fluid training. You know what I mean? I can only show her what to the point of the system I have access to. And then somebody else has to train her.
What's the question when you go to your regional or whoever? Like, do they help you, or do they kind of just be like, you'll figure it out there?
No. So the first solution was to send her to Texas for a couple of days.
Okay.
But what happened in Texas was just a bunch of people were showing her stuff, right? Well, most people that I have hired in that position, they need to do it to learn it.
Yeah. Repetitive. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now she's back and she's very much a person that needs, I did a DIS-2 assessment on her. Have you seen those? The DIS-2?
Yep.
And it's like she needs clear boundaries.
Yeah.
She needs clear guidance. She needs that piece. I can't even offer it to her. And so their first solution was send her down there. That did no good. And so I have a call with our regional tomorrow to try to get somebody down here for a couple of days, because I feel like if I could guide the training, that we would probably have more value out of it.
The biggest thing that I would offer you in there that could be valuable, even the Texas thing, is it's got to be recorded. It cannot be recorded. It has to be recorded. And I would refuse to do any more training unless it's recorded.
Okay.
Because then from a tangible perspective, now you can say, hey, go watch this 3 or 4 times and I'm going to start giving you files and can give you feedback on there. But if she doesn't, like, And this goes for anybody that's training. If you just say something and expect, it's like a foreign language. It's like, okay, I told you Chinese once, you guys don't have it, right? Like it's a foreign language, what we do. And so it's got to be recorded. And then you as building your business too, Amber. Sure.
Sorry to interrupt you. Tactically, do you have a good way to actually do those recordings?
Yeah. So I have a Mac, so I do it on ScreenFlow. And so for my team is whenever I'm doing anything technical. So for your business, whenever, how to enter a VA loan right now, I'd go to Encompass, put in John Smith, make up a social or whatever, and I'd do the whole thing. I'd be talking out loud, and I'd go to ScreenFlow and I'd be recording the screen. And then I upload it to YouTube. I have my own channel there. And then then I'd label it how to enter a VA loan. The second one, I'm going to show you now how to enter a funding fee. How to enter a funding fee on a VA loan. Check the disability, and then the next one. And for you guys that are going to level 2, this is the stuff that we teach you guys there, where it's you have to build a training library, because hopefully, Amber, this person's going to be your best person and it's going to solve all your problems. Likely that it's the last time you're training. No, that's not the truth. But then you have a training library that you own. Now you have an asset that you can help people with right now. So if you're on a Mac, I use ScreenFlow. It's $100, a one-time $100 fee. Jing, Jing, is free. It's just not as robust. It doesn't have the editing capabilities of ScreenFlow.
Snagit does it too.
What's that?
I use Snagit.
And then Snagit and Camtasia on PCs work really well. So some people do Snagit, some people do Camtasia. But you guys see the videos that I have for you guys on my website. It's the same principle, right? So instead of me doing the same lesson over and over every single time, it's, this is part of our shtick, right? Which is using technology to leverage. And this is something that you have to do. So I'll say it like this. You're wasting your breath if you're saying something and it's not recorded in this day and age. You're wasting your breath.
That's great feedback, because I've been super frustrated.
And you and everybody, right? It happens to everybody. And I only learned this by doing it the wrong way for like 20 years. So, I know how you feel. I did it. And then I'd sit there and I'm like, I can't believe they're learning it. They're not learning this. And then finally I was like, I'm recording everything. And then we just have a long training library. Now you have a company. Now you have an asset. Now I hope that your company's awesome and you stay there forever, but you don't know. Right. And so, but now you start becoming an entity in a business rather than just a employee that has to react to whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. Thanks for sharing that. I'm at 5 minutes right now. Let's hear Matt Newman.
Hey, Deryck. How are you?
Hey, man. I'm awesome. How are you?
Great. I think I know kind of the solution to my answers here. It all boils down to the system and just winning my day. But my greatest challenge in my business is getting more agents to see my value proposition.
Yeah.
I'm doing the system and it still feel like it's not aggressive enough perhaps to get out there to the agent community.
Yeah. So you're newer in the business, right? So you have a longer curve to grow, and that's just
right.
And B, they do need to see your value prop. So I would even up your game a little bit on your social game. Every time you close a loan, do a post on that so that they see your value.
Okay.
And I'm not telling you that you only can do 3 calls on Wednesday. I'm saying it's minimum. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anybody that's newer and has time, the truth for me is I tell you guys to do 5 past clients. I did 20, but not everybody's a raging achievement dude like me and has to get to 100 million as quick. Right. Amber, right. I'm a recovery dude there too. So I'm like, well, if you do 5, I'll do 20. Right. But I'm learning too. So, I did 20. That was the truth. So right. I'm just giving you the minimums to do on each day. So, to whatever the extent that you need to do, I would double and triple and quadruple if you want to blow it out more.
Okay.
And get in the habit of just doing that without attachment to the result.
Mm-hmm.
So a new person, they tend to be like, and I can hear it in your language, right? Like, I want to get more people to see my value. You can't control that, right? You know, and it's like, in the beginning, it's going to be uncomfortable and they're not going to know your value yet. You're going to have to earn your value. That's the truth.
Right.
So you earn your value with somebody because you blow it out of the water from a service perspective and you're doing our Monday stuff. And then they go, I get your value. But to try to convince somebody of your value it's just too hard.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that on like the listing agents on the deals I'm working on. I mean, they're blown away. I mean, they all make a comment that they've never had any lender communicate like this. So, I mean, the system is wowing them. Yeah. It's now taking it to the next step and convincing them that, you know, that is a good enough value to use me over whoever they're currently using.
You just need more leads in there too. Yeah, you just need more leads in there too. You have to allow the time. The hardest thing for new people is the time part.
Right.
It's the hardest part. Everybody wants it quicker, and you have the hardest job. The truth, the expectation I set with every new person is do the system for 18 months. You have a rock solid business. Don't think that it's going to take less than 18 months to where people can go, use Matt Newman. He's awesome.
Right.
It takes that long for that to happen. You have to earn it.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I had 7 months at a larger lender in my market. So I was able to sort of ride their coattails on reputation. And since I've gone out on my own now, I mean, I'm standing on my own 2 feet completely. So it's, you know, I don't have that safety net of a company to fall back on their reputation either. So I have to really win over people, I feel like, a little bit more.
Yeah, you're 18, 24 months done till you got it. But you stay in it because you own that entire asset. So you're doing the hard work. So if you've only branded your name and you have a business asset then. So keep at it, okay?
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Guys, we're at 45 minutes after. I am going to cut this. Thank you guys for your very, very insightful answers and your support for other people. You guys have a fantastic Wednesday, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye. All right, guys, let's do this. So let's get present really quickly. So we can come right into this moment. So take your attention right to the center of your chest and 3 deep breaths in to the count of 3 in and 3 out. Okay, let's make a couple agreements here. First agreement is that I have 45 minutes here today, so I'm going to go to 2:45 Eastern Standard Time. If you can make an agreement with yourself too, is how much time do you have to be present in this call? If you've got a fire drill or a closing or something going on that you have to leave in 15 or 30 minutes, totally cool. Just make an agreement. I have this amount of time to be present. And if you can, just put that in the chat box for me so I can be aware and can call on anybody early if needed. The second agreement that I want to make with you guys is I'm going to ask you 2 questions. So if you can have a piece of paper and pen out, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Just by the sheer fact of answering these questions, you're going to get value and you're going to get some insight. But secondly, if you can put the answers to these in the chat box, and I'm going to call on people that I think that everybody would benefit from the answer for. So if you can put your answers in there, and then I can go through it and say, hey, I think everybody would benefit from these, and then I'm going to call on you. Now, if I sense that somebody can answer a question as well as I can or has a different insight than me, I'd like to have an agreement that I can call on you. So somebody could ask a question, and if you're okay with it, just let me know if you're not. But as long as you're okay with it, I'd love to call on you to help answer that question so we can facilitate a mastermind as well. So let me know if you have any problems with that right now in the chat box. If you don't have a problem, you don't need to put anything in there. Okay, great. Here are the 2 questions. So write these questions down so that you can answer them. The first one is, what is the greatest challenge that you are currently facing in your business? Write that one down. Don't answer it yet because I'm going to give you the second question. So in just a minute, I'm going to give you the second question. Second question is, if I was to come to your office and sit with you for a week, what would I tell you to either start doing or stop doing? What would I tell you to either start doing or stop doing? So answer those 2 questions, put those in the chat box, and then I'm going to start calling on people. We're going to have some cool discussions. All right, let's look at these questions here. We've seen some answers. I want to hear from everybody in here. I love hearing the second answers to these. It's so funny. All right, we're going to go to JR first and get this one out of the way quick because this is going to solve a lot of people's problems. So JR, ask it. What's the greatest challenge that you have in your business? Unmute.
All right. Sorry. I would say the biggest challenge I have right now would be leads. Just getting my current network of my network of people to give me good qualified leads.
So guys, this is fascinating that he came right with this right in the way. That's why I went with him right here. Is you will be shocked at how much leads can solve almost every problem. Now we'll see as we go around here, but the majority of people's problems can be solved by more leads, because saying yes to every lead is not good. You want enough leads that you can say no to. And you can start building systems around that and building that. So being first and foremost, being a lead generator for your business has to be imperative. Does that make sense? So what would I say? So if I came and sat with you and I watched you for a week, what would I say to either start or stop doing? JR.
Oh, you're talking to me. I'm sorry. I don't know. I think I've been following the system to a T.
Okay.
And I think it's a matter of, I've been so new to the system, maintaining that consistently is going to solve all my lead problems. Just this past week, I've started to see that the fruits of my labor, as it were, the leads are starting to come in, but I haven't been in long enough in the system to start reaping those benefits as of yet. It's starting, and I can see the waves crashing over the pier, as it were. But I would just say staying consistent. I think if you came to my office, you would be just stay with the process. And, Dan's mentioned that quite a bit as well. It's like, just trust the process, stick with it, and it will come to fruition.
All right. You sound really good, dude, because that actually sounds something exactly that I would say. I can't tell you how much I feel like I want to tell everybody. More leads will solve your problem, and get married to the process, not the results. And you do the process and you keep doing that. And over time, through the compounding effect, does that make sense to everybody? Through the compounding effect of doing this over time, it's astonishing what you will get. But if you stop, if you say, that's not work, I've been doing this for 3 straight weeks and I didn't get a loan yet, then that's the wrong place. And if you stop, then it's almost like starting over again. There's a true compounding effect to this, and it's astonishing what happens over time. So I think you nailed me pretty well in there. That's pretty good, because you don't even really know me that well yet. So good job. Eric Marley, I like that. Can you clarify that with me? You have to unmute.
Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties. So the first one is just I just need to be better at carving out time management wise for sales activities.
Okay, can you start now today instead of that thought right there is kind of a future based thought. I need to be better. Yeah. Almost you can't get there from there. I need to be better is not the path. The path is, man, I haven't done it yet today. So right after this call, I'm doing it. It's
funny. I told myself I had an hour before your call, and I was going to do it before then. So I'm already on the path of doing it.
Yeah.
But it's the consistency of making sure that I'm making that a priority, which ties right into the second question, which is, what would you tell me? And you would tell me to stay out of my freaking email, because that is just the time sucker of all time sucker, and hours just disappear, and one thing leads to another, and then 2 or 3 hours just evaporates.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys, I stand before you like this. I couldn't do it. The minute I started getting on email and I got reactive, I literally, like the way that I say it is, and the next thing I know, I was going to bed. I'm like, I don't even know what I did. I just got all reactive. So when I was going through the shifts that you guys are going through, I had to do it like this. I've got to do all future-based proactive stuff before I get an email, because I don't trust myself. When I got an email, I just couldn't flip it off. It just felt too hard to flip it off. So that's why I tell you guys, when the day before, just pick a time before. And if you can do proactive before reactive, and you can guarantee that you've won your day, that's what I will tell you guys, is that will solve all your sleep problems. It will solve your anxiety problems. It will solve your fear problems. It will solve all the problems that you have. If you just get reactive and then you stay in a reactive pattern, and then you start analyzing why you're reacting to this, and this is making you mad, and now we're getting emotional here, and we're getting on this, that's what keeps you up. And that's when people then turn to and I need a bottle of wine to fall asleep at night, right? Whatever it is, right?
Right.
I'm not judging anybody, it's but that proactive time, it just gives you that peace that well, that sucked. Today sucked, but I won my day, so that's cool, right? And you can have that kind of space, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Cool, man. That was awesome. Let's hear it, Greg Wilcox. I want you to clarify that for me.
Just kind of in line with what was just being said, but I find myself either in the future or in the past. Mm-hmm. And it costs a lot of money to behave that way.
That was really well said, man. That caught me. I've never said that before or heard that, but that's a great way to say that. I might steal that from you. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
I love that, because it's so true. And, guys, that's one of those things that I say, picture me being there and watching you. And even with a stopwatch too, what is he doing right now? Analyzing or talking to somebody else about this thing that happened over here, and why this person said this and this person didn't do this and this did it, right? Or worried about the future. And then that's what keeps us in that anxious state. That's why I'm also trying to teach you guys mindfulness and present. That's why we start everything from a mindful place, so you can feel the present. Whew. Okay, cool. Let me just do the win the day activities. And then you move on, right? And what happened, the path really is what happens is it takes time, but you start to reteach yourself. It's really a process of teaching yourself how to stay present into this moment and not letting your mind make these big leaps, and either, again, analyzing your past or forecasting the future, and then staying in the present and winning today. That's how every great athlete's done it. That's how every great business person's done it. That's the difference. They just don't spend that amount of emotional energy in the analysis phase in their mind. That's what holds almost everybody back.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely.
Paul.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, Deryck, how's it going?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Awesome, man. Thanks so much. All right. So my challenge is, how do I balance the whole thing from originating, meeting people, to then working the files? And I know one of the quickest ways is hiring, and I am actively looking for an LOA or a loan partner. Mm-hmm. But that's the challenge I'm having now. I've been working the system now, 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Other things have also opened up for me. So I'm getting all these meetings, all these events, and I'm going. And then what's happening is deals are coming in, and I'm kind of more focused on continuing doing what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But it's keeping me from being from doing as well as I need to do on my files right away. So that's the mental shift that I either have to work more hours. I know it's temporary till I find somebody, but that's the challenge I'm having now. And I don't want to stop what I'm doing, because I feel like I'm in a great flow. And I feel like I've been using your words of speaking with power, mm-hmm. being intentional, and I'm seeing the results. Mm-hmm. But then I'm hurting in the back office, So, and I don't have the support to exactly. Yeah. So I guess I have to ride it for a little bit until I get there. But I don't want to give up what I'm doing, because I see that 90-day goal in mm-hmm. front of me, and I'm gonna crush it. You know what I mean? So
yes.
But I can't let the stuff in the back hurt as well. So that's the challenge I'm having right now.
Yeah, it's a fantastic challenge, and you nailed it. And everybody, if you guys haven't gone through this challenge, it will happen to every single person. Okay, so this is something that happens to everybody, because it's not just a sales and marketing business; it's a fulfillment business as well, right? And that's your challenge in there in this business. Now, Paul, for you, I want you to be in Dan's ear. I'd love for you to be in level 2 when we started again in July, which is then building systems so that you can hire people to a system, not just hire somebody to, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed right now, I just need you to help me. Right? Like,
right.
Nobody's looking for that job description. The job descriptions where you can build this out is, I've built a system. I need somebody to handle a file from this point to this point. And here are the 17 different touch points that I need you to do on this file. And I need you to do it the exact same way on every single file. That's a way to hire somebody. The path there, Paul, is a path that a lot of loan officers don't make.
Okay.
And so it's a hard one, and that's really what we set out to solve in level 2 for people. When somebody's at that level, I don't think you're there yet. You're just starting to taste it. So I would tell you to stay in abundance. The challenge is going to be hard for you. You're going to have to be meticulous with your time as you go.
That's the, like today I was up at 4:15. No joke, man. I was reading at 4:45.
I've been there.
And then I'm like, shoot, and then I'm like, I got to go to a real estate event, and I'm like, I haven't even worked on the files yet. Win the day, and then I haven't even touched the files. That's insane. It's almost 2:30.
Yeah.
And I have to upload a couple files. So that's my challenge. And if you were here, that's what you would tell me. Hey, time management. But yeah, you're right. I'm not there yet, but I know I'm going to get there
yet. But don't let fear of overwhelm hold you back.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing. If I get, real quick is, we're about to do something else that will put us in front of a lot more people. And I'm thinking, shoot, how can I handle it right now? And that's, I know that's not a horrible problem to have, but I'm concerned of giving bad service, and that I can't do.
So what you can do during this phase is you can figure out, can you do 8 loans a month, 6 loans a month, whatever it is, do those properly and be okay saying, I'm at capacity right now to somebody else. Telling a realtor that calls you and say, oh my God, I got this bar. Hey, I just want to let you know that I've hit capacity for this month. I'm going to refer you to this person, but I want to have that relationship with you. It's just so important to me that everybody gets a high service level. And so I'm going to have this person help you out with this. I used to do that during those phases, but ultimately, Paul, what I want you to get built in on is that you're going to build a system and you're going to hire people so that you can keep winning the day always.
Yeah.
And that's going to be your path to the big levels. Okay.
No doubt.
Your job is the lead generator, the head marketing, the CEO of your company. Your job is not going to be to work the files long term. But in order to hit this, and this is what most loan officers don't want to do, in order to hit those big levels, you have to go through the pain part of the doing, documenting the doing, so that you have a system with that, getting your system dialed in, and then you hire people to your system. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. That's exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you so much.
But please get in Dan's ear for next time, because I could forget and I don't want to forget. So
I will. I have wrote it down.
Do that. That's what we do in level 2. So the people that are there, that are at that, like, oh my God, I'm about to go insane, right? Like that level, which happens to as long as you do our system, guys, it will happen to every one of you guys.
Yeah.
If you do it, then that's where we say, okay, great, stay doing that. Here's my system, the one that I built. Here's mine. Build yours. Commit to it. Now hire to that system, and then you can keep going. But if not, you get shut down.
Yeah, that's what's happening, man. I got home last night at 7:30, and I knew I had work to do, but I didn't want to do it, and I just started playing a pool in my iPad.
Yeah,
because I was burnt out.
I know. And pool on your iPad is a dream compared to drinking 2 bottles of wine, which some people think.
Oh, that was 10 years ago.
As I say, I'm no judger in it.
Oh, it's all good.
It takes one to know one, right?
Yeah.
Without
Tell me about it.
I've been there, right? Like
No
I
doubt.
know how it is. So
yep.
I'm no judger. Trust me. A lot of my why is be like, I wish I would have known this when I was doing that.
Right.
So my goal is to help you guys out so you can skip some of those steps. So yeah, dude. So keep it going. No fear. Be meticulous with your time right now. Be okay setting boundaries. Be okay saying no now.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes abundance.
Yeah, it's I got to work through that one, but you're right.
Yeah, saying no now, and then saying, hey, I'm gonna build this, and I'm gonna keep this going in my life, and but now I'm gonna do it the right way. Is that fair?
Awesome. Yeah, fair, man. Thanks so much.
Awesome, Drew.
How you doing?
Man, I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good, thanks.
What were yours?
I think my leads are okay, but my leads to applications is giving me a little bit of a heartburn right now.
Can you give me an example?
We are at 40 leads for the month, and I only have 8 applications out of those 40 leads.
What is holding you back from getting applications from those leads?
We're following up. Maybe we're not differentiating ourselves enough to get a response from the leads.
Where are the leads coming from?
Realtor referrals.
What's your process right there? So, hey, Drew, Dan Ellis gave me your name and number and said you're a good lender. What do you do right then?
So most of my intros are via email, and so then it's just we have a response right away. Hey, validation to the realtor. You're doing a great realtor. Next step is to schedule 15 minutes over the phone with Drew to get a picture and an idea of how we best can help.
Mm-hmm.
And we drip on that. We contact them every day via email, 5 days. And if we can't get a hold of them, then we go back to a referral source and say, we reached out 5 times. What can we do?
Okay, there's a problem. So it's 1 until back to the referral source.
Okay.
You've got to get them involved quicker.
Okay.
So, hey, I sent them an email back. They didn't get back next day. I know it's important to you to get these people pre-approved. Can you make a call out to them? After 5th day, they're going, I mean, anything could have happened. It's too long.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's 1. It's 1. If they don't respond to 1, it's getting them back involved.
Okay. Cool.
What if I came to your office? Is that what I would say? Like that you need to stop doing or start doing, or what would I say if I just came and sat with you for a week and observed you?
Oh, definitely more green time for sure.
More what?
More sales activities.
Okay. What holds you back now? What would I see that's holding you back?
I pushed all the stuff out of the view on my desk. So if you saw my desk, you might break out in hives. I have about 4 projects on my desk right now. And actually, it makes me overwhelmed that I have a stack of thank you cards. I have a couple of problem files that I'm going to jump into today to solve those, which I shouldn't jump into.
What's your team structure look like?
So I have a front end, and then a front end that handles lead to contract, and then contract to final. So two people, one on the front, one on the back.
Can they help you out, hold you accountable to get any of this stuff done? Is there something that you can do? I'll tell you what I do in my life and business is 1 thing at a time till it's complete. So if you just pick 1 thing that's bothering you, anybody that has big to-do lists or anything, 1 thing finish. That's the path out. 1 thing finish. So if you pick up something, finish it.
Okay.
And just
I need to. I heard saying no a little bit earlier. And I need to adopt that as well. Or just push it back to the team and just, like, hey, you can run with this. You got this.
Yeah.
Just go as far as you can, then bring it back to me.
Yeah. And even firmer than that, finish it.
Okay.
You got this, right? Because it's a mindset thing in the sense of, I'll give you these two things when people are building teams. So for any of you guys that are building teams and stuff, it's, I'm going to allow somebody to make mistakes in my name. That's something that I want you to write down. And then a profitable hire is somebody that can do it 80% as well as I can. Not 100%. Nobody's ever going to do it as well or as good as you. A profitable hire is somebody that can do it 80% as well as you can. Which means you have to have the grace to allow, when the 20% happens, that you allow them to make mistakes in your name and move on. That's the path to building teams and building it like that. Most people get control freakitis and want to do everything, and you just can't leverage and build from that place.
Right. I 100% agree with that.
Cool, man. Is there anything else?
I think that's it for right now. Yeah. Rolling.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Jill. Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Cool. Well, what's your greatest challenge?
The yo-yo. So I'll have 8 units, then 3, then 9, then 4, then so. But what everybody else has been talking through is I'm writing it all down because I've got to build the systems.
Did that resonate when I was talking to Paul with you?
Oh yeah.
Because what happens is, and Paul, I want you to hear this. What happens is, if Paul wasn't in coaching right now, what people normally do is, I do the Deryck Coaching system right out of the gate. It's so fun, and I get all these leads, and I get 8 loans, and then you get overwhelmed, and you stop doing the system, right? Then you service the loans. So then you close 8 in February or March or whatever, right? And now you're servicing the loans. You close the 8. Then you show up in April, and you have 2 loans in your pipeline, and then you're like, I'm doing the Deryck Coaching system again, right? And then you do it right then, and then you get 2 in April because you have time to market, and then you do, and then that yo-yo happens, right? Or the roller coaster that I call it, right there. So the challenge for you guys is, as I said, that system is what I did to 111 million. I know it works. I did it myself. It will work every single time. But the challenge for you guys is to keep doing it and to get over the fear of overwhelm, to get over that. And it's the same thing with you. If you're up to 8, 8's about the max that you can do without a team and not go crazy. At least that was my feeling. And then even for you too, is if you're getting close to that, stay in Dan's ear about level 2. We do it as a separate mastermind where you then build the system. This is what I'm going to do at the Jill business. And then you start hiring people to that system so you can stay in the marketing mode, right? And so you can stay in marketing. What I will tell you is that, and I want all you guys to hear this too, is then what level 3 is then we'll take over all the marketing stuff for you and blow it out. But you have to go through these steps. You have to do it first so that you get the money and you get the confidence and you do the stuff, right? You have to do this first. The second thing, and that's hard, right, for people. So if anybody, you guys are at that level, that's hard in its own way. That's why it's mindset and marketing, okay? But we get you over that. The minute that you get over that, what you just said and Paul happens to everybody. Then you're like, well, now I've got all these loans. What do I do? That didn't solve every problem for me. Now I've got just a different problem, making money, but I'm going crazy and I'm overwhelmed. And then so it's like, and then I tell all of you guys, okay, cool, get in Dan's ear early and often. We start them twice a year. We do it as a separate for only people that are ready for it. And then it's build the Jill system, build the Paul Anastasio system, commit to it, do it in a mastermind so that your system's the best system. It's the most efficient system. It's completely automated as well as you can and to have it dialed in so you don't have any steps that aren't good in there. And then you hire people to the specific steps in your system. So now you have a team and then you can then be the front end lead generator And then at that point, then you're good and you feel good, and you're at a point where you can hire a marketing like director type that you can handle all that stuff. And then you become the CEO. That's the path that everybody that's ever, when you guys go to any conferences or anything and you hear somebody that did 111 million or 200 million or all that stuff, that is the path that every single one of them took. I did it. And then I was on all the panels, and then we all would compare notes, and it's like, we all did the same stuff. You know, you had to go through that, like, no, I need to build a system. Well, that's not that fun, right? But if you don't do that, you're stuck at 8. And so if you feel like, my hope and prayer for you, Jill, and for everybody, is that you guys keep going on that and you trust the process. And then you come to coaching and you be like, exactly what Paul just said, what am I going to do? And I'm going to say no for right now. I'll tell you guys this. The best advice I ever got was from my CEO. And it was in March of 2009. I don't know if you guys remember, but the rates had been up for so long. And then in Thanksgiving of 2008, I took a train to Florida. I got off the train. So it was an overnight train. And it was a time when, they had the flip top phone, right? The phone wasn't working on the train yet. And I get off and I opened the phone and I had 13 messages, and they were all like, so I got 13 loans. I didn't even eat Thanksgiving dinner because it was like, man, where was everybody? Oh, the rates went down. Well, then there was nobody left almost in our town doing business. And not kidding, in March of that year, I locked 46 loans. And I was, I was just like, fine, I don't know how we're going to do it, but I'm going to lock all of them. Yes. Right. Like, and I just did like that. And my CEO called me and he goes, stop. You're not allowed to lock another loan. And I was like, what do you mean? Who are you? What? Like, you are not allowed to lock another loan. So this is what you're doing. You're going to put those all on 60-day locks. You're going to close 23 this month, and you're going to close 23 next month, and you're going to slow down, and you're not going to do it. I'm closing off your locking abilities. I swear the CEO of my company called me and said that. And I thought he was the biggest jerk in the history of jerks. And he was just like, you cannot do that. You can't, and you're done. Stop locking. And it took me a long time, and I had to learn that lesson. And I was calling my coaches and masterminds, and they were like, no, dude, you got to build a system. Oh man, and so it really, really helped me. So, it's for you guys too. That's why it's saying no, right? Like what I said to Paul is a path out. Get to your 8, keep going, get to your 8 and say no, and then build a system so you can keep going. Don't take more than you can and stop doing the system and then yo-yo for forever, or you won't improve. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Exactly what I did all last year.
It's what everybody does, right? Like you don't know, right? If you don't know, if anybody wants to, the book that I read right then, that the people that told me in my mastermind was a book called E-Myth Revisited, where then it teaches about you have to build a system. You can't, your whole business can't be reliant on you. That's what is required reading for everybody before they go into level 2 with us. It helped me a ton. And I'll tell you this, I was just super resistant to it. I just was. I saw it last week. I was speaking in Indiana, and it was my friend that he was one of the guys in my mastermind, and their branch did 400 million last year. And we were all just so resistant to that. And we kind of did it together. And, so we learned the hard way, I'll tell you that much. But that's what hopefully I get to do for you guys, and Dan gets to do for you guys, is help you so you don't have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else? You feel good?
Yeah, I feel good.
Okay. Let's go to Matt Sines.
Hey guys.
Hey.
How's it going?
They're awesome, and me too.
Good. Basically, I have the same problems that everyone has been coming up with. I was just kind of thinking, it's kind of cool that we all kind of share in these problems. And I mean, I'm still a very happy person, very happy with where I'm at. Definitely want to take it further, but it's just so cool to kind of be in a community with like-minded individuals, and just wanted to kind of like give you a round of applause for being successful. So good job, guys.
That's cool, man. I appreciate that. It really is. And that's why I set out. And it's not that I don't like doing one-on-one, guys, but I'll tell you this, realizing that you're normal has a lot more value than doing a one-on-one thing. And that's why we do it like this, because what's fascinating is that you guys all go through the same stuff. And the people that are humble and learn and grow through that, it's astonishing what they can accomplish. So that's why we do it like that. Is there anything I can do to help you?
Well, the biggest challenge I face is I need more business, and it's
so that comes from fear. I need more business comes from fear.
And I've been kind of out of the loop, out of the system for a few weeks, and I just need to get back on it, or I want to get back on it.
So that one's not even that good too. I want to get back on it. It's cool, but what's really powerful is, so today, Deryck, when I get off, I'm going to do today, and I'm going to really fight to win each day. And I'm going to start by just winning today. That's where the fight is, Matt. Okay.
Sounds good. I'll keep on that fair. Good fight.
Yeah. Just fight today. Evaluate yourself on what you do today instead of I need to start, right? The I need to start is the path to nothing in life. I'm going to fight today is the path to everything. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Awesome, man. Matt Victoria. I had to unmute. I don't hear you.
How are we?
Hey, man. How are you?
Good. I'm actually new to the group, I think.
Yeah, I don't feel like I've either met you or that we've had conversations. So what's the greatest challenge that you are facing in your business?
Gee, where do I start?
Well, one. So what's the greatest challenge?
Well, I actually just opened up a new branch.
Okay.
So I'm in the process of trying to build fast and furiously, but Dan's we've spoken systems it's kind of funny that we had this conversation, but systems are one of the biggest issues for me right now.
Okay.
Just coming in, I've got 20 loans right now, and I'm trying to get everything situated and settled and closing and moving in the right flow pattern, because I've never really had this kind of volume before. So.
Okay. Are you up for giving yourself grace that you don't have to do it fast and furious, in your words, that you can allow this to play out?
I could certainly try.
That's why I asked it like this. Are you up? It's a yes or no answer. Are you up for giving yourself grace?
Sure.
As you learn and discover how to build this, because it's going to be, you look like a young guy that you're going to have this for the rest of your career.
I'm not that young, but maybe that's in my head.
Maybe it is. Yeah. You look young to me. So, but if you just think of it in terms of, I think everybody says words like, I need to do this fast and furiously. That's what our business teaches us, as opposed to it takes time to build a rock solid, awesome business. And I'm going to give myself grace as I start become more system generated rather than just transactional. Is that fair?
Yeah, I definitely want to be systems and relationship oriented, because transactional, you're always chasing new business, and I'd rather have it coming back.
It's miserable. Yeah. So just stay in Dan's ear with, where you're at in your business. So if I came and sat in your office for a week, what would I tell you to stop or start doing?
I'm probably giving more to my loan officers, because I've kind of been doing a lot of it myself.
What holds you back from giving it to them now?
They're not new to the business, but new to here, and kind of need a lot of coaching and instruction.
Are you up for allowing them to make a mistake even in your name, or?
I am, but the hard part is like, if somebody calls me because somebody's referring them to me,
yep,
then I want them to know I have a team, but I don't want them to get pissed at me saying, how come you didn't talk to them? And it's like, well, they're an extension of me.
Yeah. Well, so I'll tell you that it comes from you. You have to be very firm about it, and always doing it in the benefit place. So the way that I did it when I was in your shoes was I would take that call, and then I'd say, hey, listen, I'm going to put Melissa on right now. She specializes in your loan, and she's on my team. So I'm going to pass this off to her right here, but I'm going to be in and involved in anything. So let me know if I can help you. Melissa, can you take this on now? And then I just did it like from a place of power, instead of well, I hope they really need me or this. It's going to be human nature for some people to push back on that and want that, but you have to be strong enough to say it and be okay that they might say, well, I really wanted you to do it. Well, she's a specialist in it on our team, and it is as my team, and then just move on.
I think agents with teams get that more than the single one-off agents that kind of don't have any support people. I think that's probably where it is too. So I want to move into dealing with teams. So
it's
I guess
totally true. You know what I said? You know what I said during those times too? That I would say things like, I'd say, hey, I know it's one of those things with volume. You know, I'm sure you go through it in your business too, where, you know, and we have to do that. And I totally get where you're at. But in order to do volume and really to be a success, we do have to leverage through our teams too. And so I hope that you do it on, you know, sometime in your career too, but that's how we do it here. And the shift is, this is how we do it here. And that there's no emotional feeling after that. And I can't believe that they don't trust. And I can't believe, right? Like every thought after this is how we do it here is a detrimental thought for you. Is that fair? Because and be ready for this too, Matt. There's going to be somebody that's not going to be cool with it and won't use you. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that means that they weren't the right fit for us here.
Boom. See? So it's a win-win either way, right? So when you set a boundary based on a principle, right, only good things can happen. A, they either comply with your boundaries, or B, they don't and they were never going to, and they're high-level manipulators and you don't want to be in business with them.
I don't want to deal with the people that have one transaction, because they're the ones that call you every freaking day saying, are we cleared to close yet? Are we cleared to close yet? Those are the people that I need to be dealing with, because they just don't get volume. The people who are doing 10 deals a month, those are the ones that get it.
Right. And you just setting boundaries from a nice place is a way that will keep you just moving forward. Because look, somebody might not get it, and that's cool. It's not like, it's whatever, right? Like, we don't judge them. Hey, they don't get it. That's cool. Right? Like, move on, right? Like, no emotional energy on it. Or you start getting burnt out. You know what I mean? If you're spending emotional energy on anything. Hey, sure. This is what we do here. They either respect it or they don't, but I'm not gonna give any opinion to anybody if they like, whatever, right? And next. And move on. You know what I mean? Like, then it's just let it go. That'll make the business a lot easier and more fun for you too. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, this is how we do it here. This is the best I can do. Right?
Well, I want to be able to hand stuff off, because I guess where my fun part is doing seminars, networking,
cool,
things like that. So that's just the rainmaker, lead generator. Everybody knows who we are and stuff like that.
That's the path for each and every one of you, man. Yeah. And you just have to be okay handing it off, building teams. And sometimes it'll go perfect, and then there's going to be some people that won't. And as I said, you just have to be okay losing some people during that. You have to be. And we call it bless and release, right? Like, you don't yell at that, right? There's no emotion, right? Like, hey, I honor that person, that's not how they want to do business. That's cool. I'm just going to keep going till I find people that do. That's the path.
I like that. Bless and release.
It's a good one. Write it out. It helps a lot. Stacy Luna, let's go to you. This is going to be our last one. We're at 2:45.
Hey there.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic.
I have to tell you something really quick. So
sure.
On the whole thing with meditating with my daughter.
Yeah.
So last night we went up to her room, and it was late. We were studying, and very stressful evening. And right before I was ready to just put her to bed, because it was just like almost 11 o'clock. And she's like, Mom, can we meditate?
Wow. Hats off to you. Like, I teach this stuff and I can't get my kids to do it. So hats off to you. They're like, Dad, stop it, Dad. Stop it with your seminar stuff. That's how they talk to me.
It's so cool just to, and I
that's
thought
awesome.
about it, and I just think it's such a gift. And, if we can put them on that path before they get all jumbled up, I think that could be huge, right?
Absolutely. It can be totally huge. I'd love, let me know how that plays out. What's the greatest challenge that you have in your business?
So I jumped on when Polly was talking, and that's a lot of it right there.
Okay.
I'm struggling between the whole Rainmaker and getting systems in place. And for me, laying the systems out, taking the time to lay the system out is, I feel, where I'm struggling the most, because I'm just not doing it. I'm just trying to get through it all.
Is it fair, the same thing with what I told Paul, that we start them twice a year? So we just started one in January. We can't keep them big because we can only work with so many people at a time. But can you be in Dan's ear to start in July? Because we do it very systematically. Like, do this week, and then complete. Do this week, complete. Do this week, complete. And then the live event mastermind is, then it gives you that it's like having a final exam, right? Like, it has to be done by this, and then you present it there, and then we get that. So can you allow yourself grace as you're going through this, that like there's a method to our madness? It's not like we teach you guys to get a zillion loans and we leave you hanging.
No, yeah, I appreciate that. Yes.
So just stay in his ear early and often. We'll probably make the invites in April, but just stay in his ear. And then we start the next one in July. Okay.
Okay.
And if you can give yourself grace during that time. If you can't, you're like, dude, I got to start now, then do it like this. Put a piece of paper next to your thing, and every time you do something, write it down.
Right.
That's another way to do it. But I just can't tell you guys how different it is. Like, now I've gone through a full year of people that did level 2 with us, and it's astonishing because now they have all the confidence in the world now. Now they know, okay, this is what we do here, and this is who I hire for these things. And then that's where it's like, okay, cool. Now I'm ready to really blow it out. That's that next level. But you can't. Every single one of them sounded like you guys a year and a half ago, right? Like every single one of them that I have in those. A couple more at Elevate, right? I think you talked to some of them. Eric was one, Josh was one, Jenny's one. And you can just see, do you see the peace on their face? Do you see you see the confidence that they have? And these are people that are closing 120 loans or whatever, 120, 150 loans a year. And, but they're doing it now with confidence and peace. And now they know how to leverage from there. So promise there's a method to our madness if you can hang in there.
I got it.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Awesome. Is that what I would tell you if I sent? Would I tell you to chill if I came into your office?
Yeah. Today, I feel like yesterday, I felt like I really had a great handle on my day, and I checked off almost every box I really needed to. Today, I did my morning routine, but then I'm not sure what happened. So I just kind of, that little bit of overwhelming feeling where I feel like I'm not in my files enough. And like you said, it's really not where I want to be. So there's other activities going on, there are marketing activities and connecting activities that are coming up in the next week or so. So I'm finding myself going there, spending time doing that, and not really focusing on these 2 or 3 loans right now that I really need to get back to, and, make some solutions and, that kind of stuff.
Is it fair that you use the word no too sometimes during this? Is that okay?
Yes. And I have I'm getting asked about loans that things that are kind of outside of my world that I shouldn't even be entertaining. That just are not not the bulk of my business. And I've got one that's been in my pipeline since September, $100,000 bond loan. And I'm like, why am I still talking to her? I mean, I don't mean to sound judgmental or anything, but you know what I'm saying? It's not the best use of.
Yeah. It's let me refer you to somebody that specializes in those days. So when you either have somebody on your team when you're growing that's newer and wants to do that stuff, or you have somebody else in your office, or it's just guys, I want you to all write this down. This is the path to freedom and business in here. And it's going to sound crazy, but the quicker that you get to know, the better.
Yeah.
Write that down. The quicker that you get to know, the better. And if it's a no, getting there within 3 to 5 minutes and gracefully passing it off or helping somebody is the path. knowing who you are, knowing who you serve, knowing what you do here, then you go get leads to the extent that you keep getting those leads so that you can sift through those and you can service the ones that you do. And the ones that you can't, it's getting to know quick, helping them move on. That's the big level path. That's the upper level path.
Yep.
But it comes from living in abundance and going to get enough leads and being okay saying no, right? Like if you get into scarcity and start taking things and then you're doing $100,000 bond loans, and grants and 203Ks and that whole thing, now you're in scarcity and you can't leverage from there.
Right.
So you have to stay. And another one that I use a lot is you have to stay on offense.
Right.
I use that one a lot if I feel myself getting into any kind of weird place. It's like, dude, get on offense. Get on offense. Get on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Is that helpful?
Very.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. We're at the end for today. You guys have a fantastic Wednesday. I appreciate each and every one of you guys showing up and investing your time and your energy in this. You guys have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.